Today, European leaders said Ukraine can count on their unwavering solidarity. Trump briefed French President Emmanuel Macron, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, and several others following the summit. In a joint statement early this morning, the European leaders said they are ready to work with Trump and Zelenskyy towards a tri-lateral summit. But they added they will continue to strengthen sanctions to put pressure on Russia's war economy until there is a lasting peace. Deborah Pata has more on the European reaction. Deborah, good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. Well, President Zelenskyy said he had a long and substantive call with President Trump, first one-on-one and then with other European leaders. Those conversations lasted about an hour and a half. And as we now know, the Ukrainian leader will travel to Washington next week. He and EU leaders have stayed away from any criticism of the summit so far, instead reiterating the importance of involving Ukraine in ongoing discussions. As Presidents Trump and Putin met in air-conditioned rooms in Alaska, it was far removed from the bloody battlefields of Ukraine. Hours before the summit began, Zelenskyy said on social media, "There are no signals from Moscow that it is preparing to end this war. There were killings on the day of the negotiations." Those Russian strikes were across Ukraine, including overnight in the northeastern city of Sumy. Whenever peace talks begin, said Ukrainian soldier Miroslav, things get even more terrifying on the front line. They always try and seize more territory. After more than 3.5 years of fighting, Ukrainians are exhausted and desperate for a ceasefire. But their expectations of the summit were low, believing it would achieve nothing more than bringing Putin, a man they regard as a war criminal, in from the cold. "That's why I've taught myself not to dream, not to hope," said Ukrainian Tanya Melenikova, "but to live with what we have now." And across the border in Russia, "The people of America, of Ukraine, of Russia," said Russian teacher Irina, "we want to live in peace." Now, Russian officials have hailed the summit as a victory for Moscow, but Ukraine's foreign minister said while it remains committed to peace efforts, President Putin must understand the consequences of dragging out the war. Michelle?
Deborah Pata, thank you. Well, our coverage of the summit continues tomorrow on Face the Nation. Margaret Brennan's guests will include Secretary of State Marco Rubio and former National Security Council official Fiona Hill.